Mama's in the living room watching Judge Judy. I'm in the kitchen eating leftover sushi. And she yells, oh, girl, you gotta hear this one. A man was arrested for running a theme park. And when they said, where's your license? He said, my dog ate it. Oh, you can't make this shit up. Sometimes I wonder if life's just one big cosmic joke. It's like she's on a Reddit, reading r/funny lawsuits, yelling from the couch. As she sips on a Prosecco, makes fun of all the weirdos, and then I hear her shout. It's like she's on a Reddit, reading r/funny lawsuits, yelling from the couch. As she sips on her Prosecco, makes fun of all the weirdos, and then I hear her shout, girl, you gotta hear this one. Mama loves to laugh at how absurd life is, says it's all a comedy and I'm her audience. And I love the way she makes fun of the world. She said, you'll never guess who's with their girlfriend. It was a man who didn't get us out of the bed. He said, I've been through hell and now I need some help. You just can't make this shit up. You just can't make this shit up. Sometimes I wonder if life's just one big cosmic joke. It's like she's on a Reddit, reading r/funny lawsuits, yelling from the couch. As she sips on a Prosecco, makes fun of all the weirdos, and then I hear her shout. It's like she's on a Reddit, reading r/funny lawsuits, yelling from the couch. As she sips on a Prosecco, makes fun of all the weirdos, and then I hear her shout, girl, you gotta hear this one.
Hey everybody, it's Squid. Welcome to my channel on a whatever day this is, Wednesday. Oh, it's been a day already. Somehow, do you ever look at your days and go, where'd the damn day go? Because it is already 2 o'clock, and I don't know how the hell I got here. I didn't get to go to the gym this morning because I didn't go to sleep until 1 a.m. The little got up at 3. I don't know what's happening here. I don't know what's happening here. However, and I'm currently trying not to cough up a lung, so if I randomly cough, I apologize. I'm going to try to mute myself, but I ran out of cough drops, and Mr. Squid has the HSA card, so I cannot, well, I can currently go and get some, but that shit's expensive. And if you have an HSA card, highly suggest you use the HSA card for, I don't know, like, hey Janet, too cold to go out and play real golf, so you're playing Wii golf. My golf clubs are in the garage. I live an hour and a half-ish from Augusta National. Golf is not as big down here as it was back home, but I have not been golfing since I moved here, and it's kind of sad. I got a membership yesterday when I wasn't here. Big thanks to whoever gifted. On that note, I can almost guarantee who gave it to you. Because Hung Hero, thank you for starting our day off with 10 gifted Squid Proqua memberships. Always turn in the chat green. And Hung Hero has to be possibly the sweetest man to ever live. And when I say this, I'm going to tell a little story that he posted in Discord this morning. So he posted a picture of a bouquet. Okay, he's a newlywed. Okay, whatever, you post a picture of a bouquet. So his wife apparently lost, or the bouquet was stolen. I don't know the story, didn't ask, he didn't tell. Not the point. He had a bouquet, like a replica bouquet made, and delivered it to her at work today. How freaking sweet is that? Like, how adorable. Honey works well for a cough. Yeah, I have a whole bunch of honey. I've been putting it in my yogurt in the morning because it's my allergies that are really going nuts this time of year. So when we went to the fair a couple weekends ago, I got local honey from this county to try to help with my you know, is it a cough? It's a hard candy instead of medicated cough drops unless I get a sore throat. It's it's called The Weather Sucks, and my allergies cannot keep up. So there's that. Uh, Golf is pretty popular here in Florida. LPGA is in Daytona. I used to live not far from Whistling Straits. So we have PGA up there. The only golf course that I really know, besides like the college's golf course, is one I can't play on. uh God, making the rest look bad. And how are you, Spawn? I has arrived. Oh, good to know. Thanks for the heads up. Like, uh, anyway, we're gonna get straight into this. We're gonna get into what we didn't talk about yesterday. Because Tuesdays are always like a shoot the shit show. Um, it's where I am friends with the two people that are on the show on Tuesdays, My Pretty and Spawn. I talk to them multiple times per week, generally off YouTube, and talk about things that have nothing to do with YouTube. So they are my friends. So when they come on, they give me the stuff that My Pretty's very good with, everything that happens behind the scenes, some documents, some I watched it, the Facebook groups, all the drama stuff that my bandwidth just doesn't cover. So Tuesdays may not get a lot document wise accomplished because it's a help me figure this shit out kind of show. However, um, it's Wednesdays are where whatever we started talking about on Tuesdays, I will just finish up. So, you know, how am I feeling today? With the exception of this stupid cough that I have from these stupid allergies and a little congested, I'm good. That, however, scares me sometimes. And the fact that if you ask Spawn, I try to feed the little, and when she eat whatever she eats, I end up eating, or doesn't eat, I end up eating. And if I eat before a stream, I cough for half the stream. So, But here is what we talked about yesterday. And I will probably be making a short form video on kind of what we were going to talk about yesterday. Because it seems like every time I plan for something in a live stream like that, documents get dropped. And when documents get dropped, shit never works. So here we go. And Unhung Hero, thanks for the $2 super chat. Full bouquet stories in Discord. Okay. I thought it was supposed to be Friday. I thought it was supposed to be on Halloween because I remembered for some reason my brain connected scary things with a scary day. None of that's meant to be mean to anybody, but my brain has to operate like that. However, we're gonna read this this Discord story first. Before there we go. So long story short, got back to the hotel after the reception. She had a bunch of stuff we were supposed to bring back with us, set the flowers down in the hallway, brought some stuff in, came back to get the rest, and the bouquet was gone. Well, that just sucks. That just sucks. But Unhung Hero, being the sweet man that he is, made his bride a second bouquet. And it is Like, I know it's hard to see, and I'm not gonna bring the thing up on my phone, but, like, there's the bouquet. Like, it's gorgeous. Gorgeous. "Hey, Dollhouse, thanks for the surprise membership." That would most likely be Ong Hung Hero, his wife's hero, and, the hero of the chat always turning it green. So, yes. Yes, we must go look for that story. Everyone needs some romance in their life. Yes. Yep. Ung Ung Hero, congrats to you and yours if you did not hear me do that before. Yes. Squid sponsored by Hims. They have no sponsorships. Although I am looking into who would work with small creators, and I'm looking into how to do all this stuff because I am trying to make this my not have to get a 9 to 5 because I like being able to say, "Hey guys, I can't live stream today. I have to take the little to a doctor's appointment," or she's got a class. Yeah? You good? Okay. I love you. Thank you. So we are working on turning my life's work of occupational therapy and helping people into a not a side hustle, but a legit business. So we are figuring things out as we go, but trying to get sponsorships is one of them. Do I ever think we will? I'm tossed. Yeah, but hey, you never know. But speaking of someone who will never get a member or a sponsorship to anything, except maybe the WAC, which is for those of you who don't know, it's the Wisconsin Athletic Club. Um, I if Super Dave ever watches this show, ever, I will wear my Wisconsin Athletic Club shirt for you one time. Even though I need to lose weight in order to wear that shirt, so I really don't have much room to talk. But so getting back into this document, I was looking at a couple things yesterday because when I'm working, I'm always listening to things, asking. I'll ask ChatGPT random questions when I'm working and just hit listen on the answers. Like, and I was wondering and had the question about what does special appearance even mean when you are in a lawsuit? Are you technically making a special appearance when your name is on the damn lawsuit? So it literally said federal courts have abolished this concept. All filings under Rule 12B automatically preserve or jurisdictional objections without needing that phrase. Which means that he either had somebody write this for him that did not know. It just, yeah. And I also uploaded today this document and the original complaint and the amended complaint and said, point out any inconsistencies that I might not find. So we'll just see what it says. Yeah, the whack, a blast from the past. One of my friends works there. It's an amazing, like it's the only okay, sidebar. The Wisconsin Athletic Club is the only gym with a bar overlooking the racquetball courts. A full bar, not like a juice bar, not like a full we're going to have a party on a Friday night, tip one back bar. Welcome to Wisconsin. So like and the jurisdiction argument that I brought up yesterday that I just couldn't understand. He denies having contacts in Florida, yet the amended complaint and exhibits show YouTube live streams and collaborations with Florida-based co-defendants. This contradicts his claim of no Florida presence. Thank you, ChatGPT, for confirming and never rely on AI for anything. However, when you have a question that is like nagging at you, just go ahead and say, "Hey, ChatGPT, I've been thinking this. What do you think?" And just get it. You see people doing it with Grok on Twitter all the time. But like I was just asking, I asked it about, does contacting people in Florida mean you have Florida contacts? Do you actually have to be present in Florida? Welcome to the internet was what I was saying yesterday. Well, welcome to the internet. ChatGPT agreed with me. Ah, so the internet quits at some borders. Yes, he made a comment that it was like, um, that it was worldwide, not to Florida. And like, thanks for telling Florida that they're not part of the world. And hey, Just Jen. Oh my goodness. My boss was a member of the Mequon branch. Dirty Stalis here. All right, getting back into this. The Calder effects test not met. Calder effects test does not confer jurisdiction. Plaintiffs may attempt to invoke Calder v. Jones effects test, but the 11th Circuit has made clear that Calder does not allow jurisdiction based solely on plaintiff's residence or the foreseeability of harm there. See Walden v. Fiore. The plaintiff cannot be the only link between the defendant and the forum. And that's the Louis Vuitton case, requiring something more than mere knowledge of a plaintiff's forum. The contradictions just, yeah. Look into 8 sheep products to help with baby squid sleeping, small company, small batch, and all organic. I think I've heard of them. They use magnesium, right? Because I think I was gonna do that for myself too. Because if it worked for her, it'll work for me. Oh, Mom, you need to text my father and ask him about our conversation from earlier. Because boy, does he have a story. And thank God my father retired when he did. I'm thinking this. Yes. My whole, and I kept saying it, and I know I repeat myself, but sometimes that's like the only argument I can think of is like he just fought against himself. It doesn't make any sense to me. Oh no. This one will make you spit out your coffee if you're drinking it. Yeah, it's a doozy. It's a doozy. It's a doozy. It's not something that my father will ever have to worry about because he's retired now, but it's a fucking doozy. All right. The express aiming requirement demands that defendant's conduct be intentionally targeted at the forum state itself, not simply at a person who resides there. And I think he's trying to use big words. I don't think he wrote this. I don't think he did. This screams like a Fleesa thing to me. Because not even Bruce, bless his cold, dark little heart, not even Bruce tries to tries to punch above his weight class. It's all somebody has a body part they didn't have before. That's all I'm gonna say. You gotta ask Dad. Anyway. Sorry, to regain my composure for a second. Written by AI? I don't even think it was written by AI. Because not even, well, ChatGPT doesn't think it was written by AI. I think it was written by somebody possibly using portions to write AI. Like, not everything is AI. But it's written by someone who's in over their head, but thinks they know what they're talking about. That's my opinion is that someone thinks they know what they're talking about and doesn't. Whereas I just spend a whole lot of time researching when I don't understand something because or I will just skip over it and be like, I don't understand that. I don't have time to research it. We're just not going to talk about it. But I think this is written by someone who thinks they know what they're doing. Maybe somebody who um maybe yeah, but the thing about ChatGPT is when you use ChatGPT, you fact check ChatGPT. Like you don't take ChatGPT as ChatGPT gives you a place to start. Like, hey, I'm looking at talking about this topic. Please find me 5 credible or sources where I can look up information, and it saves you a shit ton of time from having to just go into a Google search and, start or, PubMed and just start Googling, or putting different search terms into PubMed. It gives you a place to start. Or yes, sounds very sovereign citizen. Yes. That's a very nice way to put it, written by someone who thinks they know a lot, but they don't. I have realized I don't know. I know what I know, and I don't know what I don't know. And if I don't know something, I'll either research or I'll ask someone who I think knows. And then when they give me an answer, I will Google their answer to see if they're right. Kind of like ChatGPT, it gives me a place to start. However, I have learned that people will take whatever other people on the internet say as gospel. That because this person said it, it's true. No, 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 no. No, no. Just because this person has 300 or 500 or a million followers. No. I have seen creators, especially with this Charlie Kirk shit, that have a lot of followers and will say stuff. And it's like, that doesn't add up, even if you are the biggest conspiracy theorist. Your shit doesn't add up. But people will take it as gospel just because they like the person who said it. It's like, no, we trust but verify. Trust but verify. You know? Like it's just oh, Squid Darling say chat GPT 5 times fast. No thanks. And hey Cynthia. I like using smaller words, easier to type. I've also had the privilege of working with people who had cognitive deficits, whether they were born with them or they were acquired by illness or injury. And I had to go from explaining things like anatomical positions and medical situations to someone who has little to no cognitive, um, no new memories, um, expressive aphasia, receptive aphasia. You have to, you have to put things in ways that people are going to understand. And I understand wanting to use big words because it makes you sound. Um, he's not. Is no defamation claim in federal 2. So whenever someone says federal 2 and defamation, um, at least when I'm remembering from reading the or the amended complaint, there is no defamation claims. So when they say I didn't defame anybody, why is it you're not being sued for defamation? So there's that. Like you're not being there is no defamation claim in federal 2. All right. Speech posted online to a global audience does not constitute express aiming at Florida unless the content is uniquely directed to Florida residents or Florida markets. However, you've contacted people in Florida. You've had direct contact with Lynette herself. You've had contact with Fleesa herself. It's a symptom. It's a it can be a result of a stroke. Not everybody who has a stroke has aphasia, and not everybody who has aphasia had a stroke, but the two generally are correlated. So, yeah, he pulled Elisa. He's claiming stuff for defamation that's not being charged. Yeah, and that is another reason why, even though sometimes reading the documents word for word can be boring, these are the receipts. So when someone goes, well, this is what's in it, this is what's in it, this is what's in it. Well, no, we read it, and that's not actually what's in it. And I like being able to have the receipts. Speaking of having all of the receipts, I have access, thanks to Andrea Burkhart. She has a Substack. All of the Charlie Kirk documents so far. We will be talking about some of those tomorrow at this time. So if you want to see all of the documents, the actual documents, not the headlines, not the bullshit, the actual shit that's been filed in court by the prosecution and the defense, that's tomorrow. I think the little's playing with my headphones. Oh no. There we go. Sorry, when you get that notification on your computer that says your headphones are connected and you're like, my headphones aren't even in this room. How are they now connected to my computer? I had a momentary moment, which means she has my car keys. Just never a good thing. Never a good thing. All right. Taschendorf's commentary was directed to the general public via YouTube and addressed matters of public concern involving a public figure. Yes, however, things can cross lines. It was not designated to reach a Florida. This is what I don't like. Your phrasing here needs work. It was not designed to reach a Florida audience, nor did not concern Florida specific business activities, and involved no Florida based conduct by defendant, because there was no purposeful direction of activities toward Florida. Calder effect test fails as a matter of law. Interesting argument. I have no. The grasping for words, when things are like on the tip of your tongue and you know what you want to say and you can't say it, and it's frustrating. I understand, because that is my everyday. That is my everyday. Jurisdictional discovery is unwarranted because plaintiffs have alleged no colorable basis for jurisdiction. There is no fact dispute requiring discovery. Oof, another interesting arguments. I will give him that much. Interesting arguments. A plaintiff seeking jurisdictional discovery must establish colorable basis for exercising jurisdiction. Plaintiffs cannot meet that threshold. I will admit these are things that we have not seen in other arguments before, in other documents. I'm just conclusion on jurisdiction. Defendant is a Wisconsin resident who engaged in protected online commentary to a worldwide audience. Yes, however, Florida is involved in that worldwide audience. And when you have contact with residents of Florida, direct contact with residents of Florida, like Felisa, like Lynette, it changes things. Things are not just as simple as I was not talking about or to anybody directly in Florida. The claims against defendant should be dismissed under 12b2. The exercise of personal jurisdiction in this case would violate due process. Burger King! First Amendment protections apply. This should be interesting. Did he put it on the internet and is Levy County in Florida? If yes, then it was directed at Florida. Plaintiff is a public figure with over 730,000 subscribers. Defendant is a commentator with only 1,700 subscribers. It doesn't matter. 1,700 subscribers, you're still a public figure. Welcome to YouTube. Plaintiff must plead and prove actual malice to maintain a defamation action. I think Jeremy has done that. And I also like actual malice. For example, when someone puts on their YouTube community page, so and so threatened me. Please send me any evidence you have of so and so threatening me so that I can handle the situation. That is actual malice. And that, sir, you did to me. So you really watch what you say in things, and why watch what you say about people on the fucking internet? Because the internet is for fucking ever. Like I don't have screenshots of that community post. It's interesting. It's honestly, it's better written than some of Bruce's. I will give him that. But I don't think he wrote this. I don't think he wrote this. Is this no, this is Miltown's worst. And I jokingly call him Miltown's worst because that is my hometown. So I am Miltown's best. Plus I have more subscribers than he is. It's not very often I get to say that. But we're up to 4,200. So we're on our way up. Slowly but surely, but I'd rather climb slowly than, 1,000 subscribers overnight and the YouTube think that 99% of them are bots and take them right away. Defendant statements were opinion and fair comment based on disclosed facts, many of which came from plaintiff's own YouTube videos or public court records. See Hale v. Independent Newspapers, Southern District of Florida, Florida 2nd District Court of Appeals, 1984. Supreme Court has long held that speech matters of public opinion, of public concern, is at the heart of the First Amendment's protections. Defendants' commentary about major YouTubers' litigation tactics, including quoting from court documents in criticizing plaintiffs' behavior in published videos, is clearly such protected speech. Even pointed criticism of a public figure is not defamation unless plaintiff can show actual malice under New York Times v. Sullivan, a threshold they fail to meet. Well, here's the thing, bro. I've criticized Jeremy's tactics, but I haven't defamed Jeremy. There's a difference. And the thing about it is when you sit hours and hours and hours and hours and hours making content about one person, you tend to say shit in there that's probably not appropriate. It's another reason why you don't make content on just one topic or just one person. Because of the fact that the more you talk, the more likely you are to say something fucking stupid. It's just the way it is. Like I was talking to someone this morning about conspiracy theories, and he was like, well, he made a comment about conspiracy theories, and I was like, yes, my friend. However, you use something that isn't common in 2025. It's called reasoning logic, and I can't remember exactly what I said, but it was like this thing called the brain. Yours actually functions. A lot of people, that's rare in 2025. So, like, it's not. However, I do believe that Jeremy was defamed. However, it's not about defamation. So you're only me. You are correct. It's not about defamation. He's bringing up defamation in here to deflect. Which is the same thing that Lisa did. And that's my point, because you get focused on the defamation and then like, wait, thanks for reminding me that defamation is not even in here. So all of this doesn't matter. I have to actually go back and look because I have screenshots of certain things where I believe, but I put that shit in like a go, not a go fuck yourself. It's a bless your heart folder. When people send me shit, I'll watch it and then I'll put it in the bless your heart folder. So like I remember seeing things that I believe constituted defamation. However, I don't remember specifics because what you don't pay attention to constantly, I forget. So, in Miltown's defense, his entire channel revolves hating on channels for clout. I don't think he's alone in that though. Like I don't think he's alone in that. I think that's a YouTube thing. I think that is a YouTube that's a YouTube issue. Um Not just a him issue. So playing devil's advocate, like I wouldn't be with 4,200 subscribers if it wasn't for people pushing my channel back in the beginning. So like there's it's a YouTube thing. Some people might take advantage of it, yes. However, I don't think that that's just a him thing. So, devil's advocate, welcome to YouTube. Yeah, some people relied on feelings instead of facts. I was taught when I was really little that feelings don't really fucking matter, because feelings can change minute to minute. Facts take time to prove differently. Um, and even like science, it takes time to prove facts wrong and for facts to change. And for, but you can go from being in a really good mood to a really shitty mood in 30 seconds or less. So, you know, it's just one of those situations that he keeps mentioning defamation in here when we keep forgetting that defamation is not in the original claim. And you read it and you start to be like, well, yeah, Jeremy will never did that. And then you remember that this is federal too. Defamation is not actually a claim. So everything they're mentioning about defamation at the end of the day don't matter. So it's uh I will have to look it up. There's a lot in that folder. I haven't looked in that folder in a long time. I literally just drop shit in it when I get sent stuff. I'll look at it, watch the clip, and then because sometimes ignorance is bliss. So, defamation is in federal 1, and it might have been in the original complaint, but it's not in the amended complaint. And at the end of the day, the amended complaint is the only one that matters, especially since he's been served or attempted to be served with the amended complaint. So, yeah, your feelings don't matter where facts are concerned. That's true. And it's like you never want to discount someone's feelings about a situation. However, facts first, feelings second. You don't want to make decisions based on whether it'll hurt somebody's feelings or not, because then you're not doing what's actually best for the world. You're doing what's best for one person. Oh, yeah, but defamation is, and Lisa did this too. She mentioned defamation so much that it it got off topic. Like defamation's not actually in there. Ugh. Rather than being harmed by defendant's limited commentary, plaintiff has chosen to use this case as content, referring to the defendant by name in videos, constructing a caricature of him for ridicule, monetizing the litigation for his own gain. Meanwhile, defendant who lacks comparable reach, funds, or influence is now burdened with defending his speech in federal court. Here's the thing. You're using it as content too. It's one of them situations where pot meet kettle. You can't get mad at someone for using something as content when you are too. It's kind of one of those situations where it's like, uh-huh. All 19 cases are nothing more than bullshit for content. Well, remember, not all 19 cases were filed by him, or however many cases there are. But remember, John, not all of them were filed by him. Some of them he was defending himself. And if he makes content based on defending himself, then that's not a him problem. That's a whoever sued him problem. Yeah, and honestly, this is one where I really can't be the judge because I am too. This is one where I really you can't call someone out for using something as content when you are too. It's literally my content too. I'm just not personally involved because I don't talk to anybody in it. The closest I get to talking to anybody involved in this is this right here. I mean, honestly, to be perfectly honest with you, John in my comments is the closest I get to talking to anybody involved in this case. So take that one however you will. Um, it is what it is. It's just one of those situations where I can't get mad at people for using it as content. The thing about Jeremy that I've noticed, and this is just my personal opinion of Jeremy, it's his content seems to have always been based on his life. Oh, thank you. Yes, ma'am. You want a cookie? I'll bring here. Oh, okay. I don't know what that was, but okay. We'll take it. She's happy. That's all that matters. He makes content about his life, and if you happen to be in his life for a particular reason, you're gonna end up as content. I mean, I don't. It is what it is. Like, it's someone who vlogs about their life. You're gonna, if you are a part of their life for any reason, good or bad, you're gonna end up as content. It's what happens when you get involved or with anything to do with people who YouTube, especially who YouTube personal vlogs. It's just what it is, you know? Uh Ugh. It is just one of those situations. This court should not countenance such an asymmetric attempt to weaponize litigation. It should send a clear message that the right to criticize public figures can be bought out through intimidation. I might have this line of thinking. This line of thinking, I might have believed if they didn't sit online and talk about it for hours and hours and hours a day and make content about it. Also, if there wasn't clear intent to evade service. If he would have from the beginning said, "I think this is bullshit," accepted service, written a response and said this. The court should not, he's weaponizing litigation and this is why. I might have believed him. Whether he was actually correct or not, still up for the facts and things to come out. However, I would have been much more apt to believe someone that is just like, yeah, give me that fucking paperwork. Let me defend myself. Let's go, bro. You know what I mean? Like, let's go to court. Let's do this. And Marquette has a law school. There are plenty of freaking third-year lawyers who would do pro bono work. I'm sure of it. I have a friend whose sister or whose cousin graduated from law school at Marquette. I will ask her. You didn't hear this from me, and I'm not doing it to be nice to you. I'm doing it to try to prove a point. You can get free legal assistance. And if you didn't do anything wrong, why are you having such a hard time defending yourself? Generally two. There's the one who, and I'm sorry, I take it with a grain of salt, the one who claims to be from Levy County and is involved in all this, and I think is the true John Cook, just based on some of the things he said about timing of documents and things like that. And there's a John Cook that happens to be from the Poconos area. So, but John Cook from the Poconos, we did convince him to put a profile picture. So he's not a Blue Jay anymore. So, Shush. Yes, the good John Cook, and I'm not one to call anybody good or bad, but I'm just reading your comment. The good John Cook is a picture now. Yes. Uh, uh. To suggest that merely appearing on another content creator's platform could give rise to liability for conspiracy or defamation, you're not being sued for defamation, would open the floodgates to litigation against journalists, podcasters, streamers, and commentators. It would mean that any creator who participates in a panel discussion, interview, or public dialogue could be targeted if their host or co-host, co-panelist later becomes the subject of a lawsuit. That implies that you were on this implies that you were on their show once. But when you're constantly and you know they're being sued, you are constantly. The bruise I think is gone. It's still a little tender, but like I didn't wake up with a headache. So I mean it still hurts if I like poke it, but I think the bruise is gone. Yeah, and at the end of the day, John Cook is not a it's like John Smith. It's not a unpopular name in the US. This would be a profound intrusion on free expression and association, rights protected by the First Amendment. This is not about the First Amendment. You're not being sued for defamation. You're being sued for tortious interference. See NAACP v. Claiborne Hardware. Holding that liability cannot be imposed on a person merely for associating with others engaged in expressive conduct unless specific unlawful intent and participation is proven. Your beautiful and lovely granddaughter headbutted the hell out of me on Sunday night, right in the temple. Yeah. I think it was Rosalind, and it might have been somebody else before that, but Rosalind's chat was the first time that I remember him pointing out that like, hey guys, I am not Florida. Like I'm not from Florida. Same name, different person. So, you know. And the thing about this John Cook is that there's 205 of you here right now. I've done streams on multiple other topics. He comes to hang out occasionally on those other chats and sometimes just comes by and says hi, drops a like or possibly a dislike, I don't know, and goes about his business. But like he supports my channel for like ad revenue and like time watched more than a lot of people, which so when I say I respect everybody, because at the end of the day, everybody who comes in here at the end of the day is helping me out. That's why I don't blatantly disrespect chat, even though some people I might not agree with, because at the end of the day, this is my channel. One, I'm going to run it how I want, but two, everybody in here is supporting me whether they realize it or not. Cynthia, the one that was blue, put a profile pic. So there's only 90 likes and there's 213 people here. Can we like get that up, or do I need to like, talk about my nails and shit? Like we started it was the back of her head. She's fine. She just didn't want to put pajamas on and decided to throw her head back, and I just happened to be sitting behind her trying to put her pajamas on. So, yeah, we started a helmet fund. My dog broke my nose by jumping up while I was bending over and drove my glasses into my nose. Oh my goodness. You should be banned for this comment right here. I almost got knocked on my ass by a prowler. You can cut that shit. I was walking around with that ugly little box, if you know what I mean. And almost got knocked on my ass by your downward. Prowlers can kiss my butt. All right. It's the jacket, show some shoulders, get some likes. And this is my and this hair is um this is air dried. So literally this is air dried. It's cold. It's like 55 degrees outside. It's cold. Ah, let's see. Uh there's 110 now. A helmet for her or a helmet for you. Um, they were talking about asking Shizzy if he could send me his helmet. Ah, did your filling survive? Well, I don't know. Need some sparring headgear. I'm convinced she's secretly trying. I know how to defend myself against an adult. I don't know how to defend myself against a child who smacks the crap out of me, but I can't smack the crap out of her without it being some sort of crime. You know? Like, she can beat me up, but I can't touch her. Like, you know? My 3-year-old grandson broke my nose at the back of his head, and I laughed. I had turned my head. I was reaching for, I think I was either reaching for the A&D or the lotion because she had a, she scratched herself, and I put A&D on all that stuff. Diaper rash, scratches on the hand, like anything. It just put a layer A&D on it, and generally the next day she's fine. But I think I had turned, and that's why she got me in the back of the head. Shizzy's helmet will be up for auction soon. I think people were joking that they were going to ask him. If I don't know if they ever did, nor do it. Doesn't matter. But it was funny because they were like, we'll just ask Shizzy for your helmet. I think it was Robert who was going to ask Shizzy for the helmet, but I could be wrong. Well, yes, but I have told her that one of these days she's going to run into someone who's going to I think I was in Walmart one time and she smacked me when I wouldn't get ice cream. And I looked at her and I said, one of these days you're going to meet somebody, another kid, you're going to smack them and they're going to smack you back. And I kind of can't wait for that day to happen. Like for her to go hang out with some other kids, her to smack a kid and that kid to smack the hell out of her back because maybe she'll learn a lesson. You know? I use Andy for everything. Yeah, we did too. I've never used Desitin or anything like that on any baby diaper rash or anything. It's Andy. Andy, perfect. Unfortunately, I was raised in the South. My dad beat the tar out of us. I've had no repercussions mentally. Neither have I. I've done the I had to pick my own switch as a kid. So yeah, my parents did not beat me by any means. However, my parents were not afraid that when you effed up and you didn't listen, and they would make you listen. You know? They would make you listen. Shizzy sent the JH helmet for an auction item. Ugh. Honestly, right now, only me. There has been so many documents that I can't exactly remember from the original or the formal or the amended complaint what the actual things were against him because it's been, 6 months? 7 months? So, unfortunately, not right now. I would actually have to go back to the amended complaint, which I think was document 35. The amended complaint was document 35, filed on April 28th. This is October 29th. So think about how many documents in just this one case have been filed in that time. So no, I can't exactly remember exactly everything that was pointed out in the 130 pages. Let's see. 84 pages of that document with exhibits. So my brain cannot exactly recall every little part where he was mentioned in that 74-page complaint and 11 pages of exhibits at this very second. So, but that's what happens when you wait 7 months, 6 months to respond to a complaint, is you get everything all muddled and you forget what the actual complaint was for. So, hey, sarcastic. So, I'm wondering if Lynette showed up for that deposition because the cases involving her were put on hold at the bankruptcy. I could have swore that deposition, and I could be wrong because, attention span, fly. Short-term memory of things that don't exactly apply to me without writing them down. Short term. So hold on. Let me pick up my thing and see if I wrote it down. But I could have sworn that was Halloween because for some reason I remember laughing at the fact that something that scared me was going to have a deposition on Halloween. But I did not write it down. So I don't know. But I thought it was supposed to be on Halloween, but like I said, could be wrong. I just, for some reason, I remember Randy filed a cancellation for the depot. That'll work. Yeah, and this right here is why I follow documents, not people, because I love you guys and none of you come here with bad intentions that I know of. However, with the exception of like the 5 people who hate my guts and the fact that I smile pisses you off, which is just funny. But this right here, there has been so much like it was canceled. She didn't show up for the first, like it. There's so much like I thought I heard this. I thought I heard this. That it's not that I don't trust y'all, but y'all have the best of intentions, but sometimes we're all wrong. Which is why I do documents and pretty much the documents only with few exceptions. Because there's so much like, he said, she said, yeah, wasn't seeing like this, wasn't the depot for the county case. Yeah. Okay. Maybe that's why I heard 1031 had to happen before 1031. I remember for some reason hearing Halloween. But that's also why if I don't write it down, I say I don't think so or I don't know. Because if I didn't write it down, yeah. Miltoast published a book. Oh, great. Yeah, receipts don't lie. And it's one of those things where if I'm not sure, I will literally tell you I didn't write it down, so I think this, but don't quote me. Scheduled on 29th and yeah. I'm never wrong, but I've been mistaken. Yeah. All right. Going back to June. SLAPP. Florida's anti-SLAPP statute does not automatically apply in federal court. Federal courts in Florida have recognized the SLAPP-like nature of lawsuits designed to suppress critical speech. See Bose v. Consumers Union of U.S., Adelson v. Harris. Plaintiff is a public figure attempting to silence a micro creator. No, a micro creator, bro, would be someone with like 500 subscribers. That's a micro creator. You're not a micro creator. Nice try. You have a small channel like me, but you're not a micro creator. So stop trying to make yourself smaller than you are. No, the receipt still didn't lie. She did. Shush. Shush. Oh my goodness. Malin, you remember that? Oh my goodness. Deborah Baker, thank you for the $15 Cash App. For love you, Squid. Love you too. And I hope you're doing okay. And I'm glad you're here. Have a good laugh with us. And that's at the end of the day, YouTube is supposed to be fun. YouTube is supposed to be fun. I've seen a lot of inference from Miltown suggesting child inappropriateness, but JH is suing for business interference. And um, I am sure that Randy and Jeremy have a lot of receipts that I don't have. Obviously. One, I'm not part of the cool kids club that shares documents. And secondly, you got to keep some shit close to the vest. Plaintiff is a public figure attempting to silence a micro creator who merely commented on a public controversy, much of which plaintiff himself broadcast to the world. I will say that's one of my criticisms of Jeremy is sometimes I think that some of that he should keep a little closer to the vest. However, it's his channel. He can do what he wants, and it's not illegal to talk about a lawsuit that he's involved in. Sometimes I think it's poor taste for people to talk about lawsuits that they're involved in, especially the lawyers. Bruce. However, you know, oh yeah, and Mary, that 14-day timeline is coming up soon. So, I'm convinced there are some people in this world who should never be parents, and he is one of them. Thank you. Your streams are my favorite. You just tell it like it is, and I love that. That's all I can do. The thing is I will tell you where I don't know stuff, or I don't understand stuff, or I will just tell you, don't take my word for it. This is just my opinion. Because not a lawyer, never claimed to be one, and no one's ever mistaken me for one. What Jeremy says is always intentional. He knows. Yeah, and I'm sure he talks to Randy about what he's going to say in a live stream. I just personally think, my personal thing is I just wouldn't talk about it at all. However, just because I wouldn't doesn't mean that it's wrong for someone to do it. That's just not my cup of tea. Where it's one of those things like you can not agree with someone's actions, but that doesn't mean that they're like a bad person or they're wrong. It's just wouldn't be what I would do. But guess what? That's human nature, and not everybody is going to do the same things. And that's what makes this country great. Squid told us yesterday. Yeah, well, there's that. Maybe it was just the vest and you were showing some shoulders because they would share. Could be your ticket to the cool kids club. No, I've never been in the cool kids club, and I don't want to be. I'm a loner. And I'm okay with that. Because I tend to, when shit gets a little too dramatic for me, I exit stage left, and people don't apparently like that. That's a boundary that people get mad at you when you enforce, and then you become the bad person. So I just, gross. Oh, I did see a Trump meme today, and regardless of wherever you fall on the political aisle, this is just funny to me. It said it was a picture of the White House, and it said, "I like the White House like my pants with a lot of ballroom." I'm just like, I saw that and I was just like, that is hilarious. I'm gonna buy you a pack of all pink crayons to eat. It's like wherever you fall in the political spectrum, I don't care. But that was hilarious to me. And sometimes you just gotta laugh, because if you can't laugh at stupid shit or funny shit, like, yeah, and that's another thing that made me laugh Angie, I don't know what you do for a living. However, um, I've noticed from working in OT that the older a certain people get, the smaller a certain appendage gets, and the bigger another area of the body gets. So it was a throwback to like an OT joke. Fine, I'm gonna get you purple ones or brown ones. There you go. You can have brown crayons. Like, yeah, I think that was June. Now I was thinking about it because I thought you had mentioned it last year too, but I don't know. Ugh. Miltoast has a very mean streak behind that smile. The history of hateful commentary against larger channels. I'm a prison guard. Ooh, okay. When we get finished with this part, I have a thing to do. Thank you for reminding me of that. I have a special. I would have nobody to make fun of. Uh, the court or this the suit serves no legitimate remedial purpose. Instead, functions as a warning shot to anyone who dares speak critically about the plaintiff. I've spoke critically of Jeremy. He's never sued me. I'm just saying. Because there are limits. Like there are limits to what you say. Like like I don't know if this is you don't just get to walk around. Yeah, we have freedom of speech in this country, but we also have freedom or you don't have freedom from consequences. See Charlie Kirk's reaction. You know? There's not a freedom of consequence. So, you have to watch what you say. Just how about just try not being an asshole? Like yeah. That's what I don't know. That's what I can't answer. And that's my criticism of the judge is he just needs to shut all of this shit down. This lawsuit violates Florida's anti-SLAPP statute 768.295. Florida's anti-SLAPP statute prohibits lawsuits primarily aimed at punishing protected speech. But this is not about the speech. This is about tortious interference with business relationships. So all of this stuff, it might sound good, but it's not. So this might apply if Jeremy was suing for defamation. Jeremy is not suing for defamation. Let me open that other document and just run a word search for defamation. Let's see what the count 1 malicious prosecution. I'm currently in the other document. Matskin, Weeks, Matskin, Preston, Cook, Hughes, Helm. Sorry, he's got under each count he has who it replies to, so I'm just reading their names and skipping. Teschendorf, civil conspiracy. That's civil conspiracy. Yeah, civil conspiracy is always he's being sued for. He's not being sued for defamation. I mean, so literally, he's not being sued for defamation. It's civil conspiracy and civil conspiracy only. So there's that. With that being said, Oh, thanks. And Spawn sent me all the information he's had for months on slap stuff, all the stuff we've gone through before. But would it doesn't even apply. So it's like thinking about like getting pulled over for speeding and the you talking to the cop about how you're not guilty of like theft. It's like it's not about this. That what you're telling me right now has no bearing on what you're being charged with. It's so it's just it doesn't apply. So literally the judge, my opinion, might take all this stuff and just like throw it away because none of this stuff actually applies to what he's being sued for. So he's doing math questions on his English lit exam. Pretty much. Today's big word is irrelevant. Hope the spelling is correct because I'm an idiot. It might be Levent, but who knows? Or yeah. Levent. There you go. But either way, and that's your right to think that. However, just basing it solely on what he's writing here, none of what he's writing here applies to a defense of what he's being accused of. So it's irrelevant. So well written and sounding good, and it's like writing a paper about. I'm trying to think about like my AP European history class from high school 22 years ago. It's like writing a paper on the Russian Revolution in U.S. history class. It might be a very well-written paper and a very well-educated, well-thought-out, well-researched paper, but it doesn't apply to U.S. history. Therefore, your teacher is going to take it and just throw it away because it doesn't really matter. It doesn't matter. Like, and that's the kind of situation we're kind of in right now. Defendant is a small creator commenting on a large public figure who has made himself the subject of ongoing public controversy. Defendant's statements are in connection with a public issue and are protected under both Florida law and the First Amendment. This lawsuit is meritless and retaliatory, designed to suppress dissent and should be dismissed. The thing about it is, like I'm not one to I'm not one to throw myself into a situation, generally speaking. However, perfect example here of what somewhat the Hale supporters do not like me because of the fact that I criticize Jeremy. However, I've criticized Jeremy. Jeremy's never sued me. So not to put myself in there in a situation. However, if Jeremy would like to use my streams as an example to the judge of how someone criticizes him and he does not sue them, I am a perfect example of that. Because I have literally said I don't agree with that, or I think that's dumb, or that's not what I would do. However, guess who hasn't been sued? Oh, guess who doesn't just go around talk shit about people on the fucking internet? It's yeah, he's bloviating, trying to bury the point in a wall of a meaningless text. Yeah, it's just yeah. Yeah, pulled over for speeding between officers. I've not been in that house, or I don't know that woman. I've never had relations with that woman. A certain president, sorry. Who was probably when a certain picture in the Oval Office was taken, there was probably 3 people in that picture. Angel, what can I do for you? You've had enough chocolate milk today, baby. You need to have something else. Go get your water. Yes. Yes. Well, I'm sorry. Ow. We would live off chocolate milk and Swiss cake rolls if I let her. So, You know? Yeah, there are just some things you don't do. uh, Designed to suppress dissent and should be dismissed. A person or governmental entity may not file or cause to be filed through its employees or agents any lawsuit against another person, entity, without a good faith basis in fact or law that is primarily because such person or entity has exercised the constitutional right of free speech in connection with a public issue, quoting the Florida statute. Uh, what is the problem with that diet? She's 3. Uh, Defendant is a small independent commentator with only 1,700 YouTube subscribers. Plaintiff is a public figure with a large platform who has used this lawsuit not only to silence criticism, but also to monetize the dispute by mocking defendants in his own videos. This is precisely the retaliatory dynamic that his anti-slap statutes are designed to prevent. While the 11th Circuit has not definitively ruled whether Florida's anti-slap law is a procedural or substantive part, oh, I hate that word, in federal court, there are some words that like my brain can pronounce it, but my mouth can't. In this circuit have allowed slap-based arguments to inform Rule 12 motions. See Tobanek v. Novella, here be Atkins Nutritionals. The court should treat plaintiff's conduct as slap-style abusive litigation power and dismiss this case to protect protected speech and discourage future chilling tactics. So before we get to this harassment part, one of my friends, who is a very good friend of the channel, Carmen, spawn of AJ, alternate juror's daughter, she is a correctional officer. She has recently switched from the federal to the local system, and the county she works in is not the most affluent county in the fact of they get the bare minimum. When I say bare minimum, I mean like the bare minimum protective gear. This woman has been injured on the job before, including like stuck a couple of times with a pointed object from an inmate. So, with that being said, she has reached out to me. She has started a Buy Me a Coffee fundraiser to get some higher quality body armor to protect herself. Because in my opinion, whether you like law enforcement officers, corrections officers or not, everybody has the right to be safe on the job. So I am just getting the link, and I meant to mention this the other day. However, I forgot to because of the fact that the little needed mama mode uber quick. So here is the link to her Buy Me a Coffee. It's Spawn of AJ. She is one of the most like down to earth, awesome people that I know. I consider her a friend. Her and I talk quite frequently. And she is also super transparent, and I know exactly what these funds are going for. And they are going for her body armor. And it is not expensive, or it is not cheap. It is upwards for what she needs, upwards of $1,000. So I will have her DM you. I will. So I will see about hold on, I will click on the link and do it there. Here we go. Let's try this one. And y'all know I check receipts and stuff before how about that one? Hopefully that'll work. And I'm just going to pin it to the top of the thing. But she is an awesome person. I consider her a very good friend. So I'm glad we could do this. And she asked for my help, and I am more than happy to oblige, especially when it's going towards a good cause. Everybody should have the right to be safe at work. And it's not that the county, I believe, that she works in wouldn't help. They just can't afford it. And not every county in the world is affluent and can afford everything that they need for all of their people. So, and Angie, thank you, because when you said what you did, you triggered in my brain the fact that I was going to mention it. So, yeah. So, thank you, Angie. I appreciate you. So, all right. Getting back to this. This is where it's like this is where I think had to run into town so really late. That's all right. We better late than never. Plaintiff's bounty caused harassment, doxing, and abusive process. Participants in federal litigation are expected to be respectful of others, to express themselves temperately. Hales v. Lacey. Plaintiff Jeremy Hales bears direct responsibility for the wave of doxing, harassment, and digital intrusion now occurring against defendant Teschendorf and individuals associated with him. On a public live stream, plaintiff spelled out defendant Teschendorf's legal name, even though plaintiff himself notes on line 150 of his complaint. Teschendorf is a competitor of Hales for internet sales and marketing as a host or operator of a YouTube channel called Miltown's Best. Okay. This has nothing to do with like plaintiff saying that Miltown is a competitor. We're all competitors. Like, I get along with Shizzy. I consider the expert a friend. I like the expert. I like a lot of people. However, guess what? When you have a YouTube channel, by default, you are competitors because you are all in the same marketing. You are all, quote unquote, fighting, even though it's friendly competition most of the time. You are all fighting for the same ad revenue. Gail, I'm going to use you as an example just for Gail. Say Gail has a budget. She budgets her money every month and she says, I have $50 that I'm going to use for YouTube creators this month. And guess what? I want some of that $50. Shizzy wants some of that $50. Spawn, well, not monetized, but Spawn wants some of that $50. 10 other creators that she might watch want some of that $50. Guess what? We're all in competition to see who to make the best content, to see who's going to be getting that $50. It's not it's like two grocery stores that have the same product. They're in competition. The owners of the stores might get along just fine, but you're all in the same market. It's not a she only said that because she needs a helmet. Yeah, Gail, you were the first person, and you were the person who's not going to fight back on like, well, I don't super chat. Well, I'm just using you as an example. Like, somebody who budgets their money says, I'm going to do $50 in super chats this month. Who's going to get that super chat money? It's whoever makes the best content for that person. So we're all in competition with each other, whether we like to admit it or not. That's why we all bust our butts to try to do the best we can, and we don't just throw shit at the wall and see what sticks. Yeah, his name is literally on his website, and guess what? On his Facebook page, because we lived in the same town for many years. One of the addresses that I've seen for him is not far from where my grandparents lived. Like, I used to ride my bike past there when I was a kid. So guess who popped up on my people you may know on Facebook? And when you click on his profile on his Facebook page, it literally has his full name. And then it says operator of Miltown's Best. And it has his YouTube channel on there. So like, he does not hide his name. What's up, baby? You want my phone? Yeah. Why? Okay, there you go. I love you. Be careful. So it's just one of those situations, like his Facebook page literally has his YouTube channel on it. And his Facebook page used his whole entire name because I hit remove as soon as I saw that shit pop up. This is what happens when you live in the same town and you have associates. Ugh. Yeah, wow, you're my competitor, not cool. You know what I mean. Ninja Puppy, thanks for being a member for 4 months. You got mine this month. Appreciate you. And that when I talk about that, it's not meant to be like a hey, call to service, call to action. Y'all super chat me. Angel. I don't know what you want me to do. Okay. Girl, you have a pad. And D. Johnson, thanks for being a member for 3 months. And we're great. Thanks for the $2. It was just I use it as an example because most people understand it. Hope he can get mail there as the judge will be coming. Yeah, the little one is off to spend the $50 you got from Gail. Pretty much. Well, you guys know what I mean, though. It's like 2 grocery stores carrying the same product. It's like, it 2 grocery stores. The owners might get along, but at the end of the day, they're in competition for each other. Little Squid's chocolate milk fun. Thank you, Harry, for the $2 super chat. You're so sweet. It's she can only have so much chocolate milk per day because milk makes things not move as they're supposed to, and we don't want to deal with the after effects of not being able to go to the bathroom. So I just don't give her over a certain amount per day, and she has not managed to figure out how to not drink it all at once. So, but I just like how he puts his own name out there, and then he's like. He refers to him as Super Day on other social media platforms, including without limitation Facebook and Twitter. No, your Facebook page that has your private Facebook page has your YouTube channel on it. Ask me how I know. I might have a screenshot of that because I might have screenshotted it and said, look who came up on my people you may know. What the hell is this shit? So, whoop. Pantha asks, someone named on this document was told by a person to keep away from all of this, but he decided to stay in with BBB, the fleas, and do shit. So whose fucking fault? That stupid. Yep, that's true. And it's not like they weren't warned. And see, sometimes people with common sense, when the judge struck down Jeremy adding all of these plaintiffs to the first lawsuit, that's when I would have shut the fuck up. I would have disappeared. You wouldn't even known my name. I would have started making content about like Sprunky or like some, you'd see me start gaming to get completely as far away from that shit as fucking possible. So, Hale's calling only me. We are all, if you have a monetized YouTube channel, you are all in competition with each other for views, for ad revenue. It doesn't matter if you have the same niche. It doesn't matter if you have the same amount of subscribers. Welcome to having a monetized YouTube channel. You are trying to get views because at a certain point, Dan, you can use another example. Dan, there's only 24 hours in a day that he can watch YouTube. Probably more like 12, but between sleeping, work, eating, we are all in competition for that time and that viewership, because the more viewership we get, the more we get paid. And many people make a living like this. So whether you want to admit it or not, anybody with a monetized YouTube channel is in competition with each other. So you say that Jeremy said he's in competition. It's because by fact, everybody's in competition with each other. It is what it is. It's not Jeremy being verbose. Whether I like Jeremy or not, Jeremy's my competition. Jeremy and I could be best fucking friends. At the end of the day, we're competition. If we stream at all or release a video all around the same time, we're competing for views. It's why you use your analytics to see what is the best time that you can go live versus somebody else. You look at who, and you try to use your analytics to base your streaming schedule and your video release schedule, because we are all in competition with each other. It's you might not agree with it, but it's the way it is. That's just business. Plaintiff attached defendant's full name that was already released in multiple things, including this lawsuit, to a $1,000 bounty, and urged his audience of over 700,000 subscribers to locate defendant Teschendorf's personal address. Yes, but Jeremy, once again, never said, to my knowledge, because people told me about this, because of the fact that I am from Milwaukee and might have people who might be interested in that $1,000. And so I put it on my personal Facebook page, and I had just said, hey, by the way, if you have information, contact this person. Don't put it out on the internet. Don't dox anybody. And if I'm remembering correctly, Jeremy said, send it to me, email it to me. Don't dox people. And at the end of the day, address is public information. So they call that frenemy. And Mary, thanks for being a member for 3 months. I appreciate that. Wheat thins, pepper jack cheese sticks, and a sugar-free Barks root beer for lunch. Getting fancy over here. Ooh, what set are you on? Where the craft table got crafty. All right. It's just, they take things that are not, this is where you take things out of context, you spin it in your own warped idea, instead of just taking shit at face value. Not everything is as deep as people want to make it out to be. The brain is a wonderful and very powerful, but very scary thing. And sometimes where there are no answers, it will make up answers for you. And a lot of times those answers are worst case scenarios, not accurate, not based in fact. And we had a moment like that today. I was talking to someone today and I was like, this happened. And I was talking to him about it. And then I was like, no, that probably is not what happened. My brain just went worst case scenario because of the fact that I didn't have an answer to my question. My brain instantly went to 800 places, none of which are based in fact, all of which were based in emotion. It happens to everybody. I am not immune, although I can see it in myself. Sometimes I can't help it, but I can see it. The results were immediate and foreseeable. Within days of plaintiff's live stream, defendant Teschendorf received multiple security alerts documenting unauthorized attempts to breach his Gmail account. In addition, several old associates and distant relatives, uninvolved individuals with no connection to this litigation, reported receiving unsolicited direct messages from unknown persons referencing defendant Teschendorf and this case. These incidents demonstrated the harassment instigated by plaintiff has spread beyond defendant Teschendorf personally and is now impacting innocent third parties in his proximity. No, sir. No. You, by the fact that you are dodging service and bragging about it on live streams, you, sir, are putting everybody else. I do not agree with people being targeted in error. I do not agree with any of that. However, you know what would have prevented any of that from happening? If when someone knocked on the door and said, you're being served, you would have just answered the fucking door, just admitted that you were being served, and moved the hell on with your life. It's not hard. Hey, Kimono Dragon, member, thanks for being a member for 7 months. You're looking good today, Spud. Supermodel. Yeah, not even close. No makeup and hair air dried. But thank you. But no, I don't think that was a typo. I think that was a message, but that's just me. Whoop. Trying to unstar the comments and accidentally clicked on it. Let's see. Yeah, that was a message. Oh my goodness. Sometimes sometimes people disguise themselves and change their names on YouTube, and I know who you are, Kimono. And how are you? Thanks for this, by the way. This dictionary right here. Ugh, I know who people are. Yvonne, how are you feeling? People have their thoughts to what causes it, but it's a life sentence with no cure. Yeah. Hmm. Nearly all of these people are their ex-rug users or current ones. Hard to understand why people would send them money, to be honest. I have no opinion on that because I don't know for sure, and I don't want to, yeah, and this is part of not, paying attention to some of it is I have no idea about any of that. So, ugh. Alright. Plaintiff's recklessness is further highlighted by the fact that unrelated strangers have been doxxed and targeted in error. Solely because plaintiff unleashed his audience to search for defendant Teschendorf's private information. The collateral harm inflicted on these third parties underscores plaintiff's disregard for the predictable consequences of his conduct. No, once again, sir, that falls back on you. And if you would just accept service like a grown-ass man with a supposedly pair of balls. I'm not sure that you have any, but if you were just to act like you had a pair of balls for a minute and stopped acting like a Milwaukee soy boy, who should be from the east side instead of the suburbs, um, grow a pair. Like, your mother grew a bigger pair than you did, and she had you. Here's the thing. Grow a pair, accept service, and none of these side consequences would be happening to anybody. These are a direct result of your actions because Jeremy, whether I like him or not, once again, facts are facts. He's tried to serve you for months, 6 months now, and you have decided that you didn't want to be served. You have said, apparently on live streams, that and laughed about the fact that you haven't been served yet. So this shit is your fault, not Jeremy's. Not Jeremy's. Like uh, you know, I'm just Jen. Thanks for the $1.49 super sticker. It is appreciated. It is so appreciated. And Devil Dog Cody, Semper Fi. Thanks for the $5 super chat, baby squid. You know how many times I do that per day? Chalky milk fun. Do you know how much I do that on a daily basis to the point where it annoys her? She looks at me like, "Mom, shut up." So, yeah. Courts have long held that liability may attach where party authorized, directed, or ratify unlawful acts of others. And if we really want to call like doxing, and doxing is not, although it's a shitty behavior and not acceptable, in my opinion, it is not illegal. And that's there's there's a thing that, we always talk about on this channel. There's morally right, what we think is moral and ethical, and what is ethical as far as the court's considered. There is what we also believe is right and wrong, and then what the courts consider right and wrong. I believe doxing is wrong. I don't do it to people, or I try not to do it to people, because I don't want it done to me. However, not a chargeable crime. might be where the law and public opinion differ, but guess what? It's just the way it is. That's true. That is true. The Milwaukee County Sheriff's Office, who was trying to serve him, said that Jeremy was just passing the information along. Yeah. Yeah. I don't believe in doxing either. However, not a crime that you can go to the cops and say this person doxed me and they will be arrested for it. It's not that kind of a situation. Yes, man up, accept service, then defend your case. Not a hard thing. Captain Kern, how are you? How are you? Sorry I wasn't able to make it to your live today. I saw it and I just got sidetracked. And federal law prohibits the use of electronic communications to engage in interstate harassment and intimidation. Wisconsin statutes likewise prohibit harassment and stalking. 947.013, 940.32, 2024, by offering a bounty, publicizing defendant Teschendorf's legal name, and inciting. Jude, your legal name has been in this freaking shit show of a case since April 28th. Before that, if you consider that Jeremy tried to amend Federal 1 to put your ass in it. Yeah, saying your name is not doxing, hidden, but your phone number, address, or just said your name. And that's really available for anyone, especially when it's in a lawsuit. Yeah. Catch up, guys. What did you think about him using the guest house of Milwaukee downtown as his address? In my opinion, it wasn't a good move. He used the Department of Health and Human Services. I honestly think the way this crazy document is written, he should have used the address across the street, which is Milwaukee County's mental health emergency room. He should have used that address because that sounds like he needs that one more than anything. Oh yeah, his real name is on Facebook. Yeah, he came up on my people you may know on Facebook. And on his Facebook profile, that popped up, I want to say, back in May or June. This was not recent. When you click on his profile, it says operator of YouTube channel Miltown's Best. So he literally connects his own first and last legal name with his YouTube channel on his Facebook page. I might have screenshotted that and sent it to somebody because I'm as a joke, oh my God, look what, when you see something and you're like, the fuck is this? Yeah. Did his Facebook show juniors? That wrong person. This is Miltown's Best. That's Luthman. So. So your full name, my name on Facebook is not my actual name. FYI. I mean, yeah, and it's not even if that was related to my name, it's still not my name. So if you find me on Facebook and think that that's my last name, it's not. It's not even my married last name if I were to get married. So, it's just funny that somebody's tried to dox me using that, and it's that's not my name. But thanks. It's my first name, but it's not my name. The collateral harm inflicted on these third parties underscores plaintiff's disregard for the consequences of his actions. By offering a bounty, publicizing his legal name, and inciting his followers to obtain private information, plaintiff crossed the line for litigation into harassment. His conduct constitutes incitement, aiding and abetting an abusive process. For the low price of $100 million, I'll give you Squid's real name. I am making a Facebook page that is friend request worthy, not just follow, with my new Facebook page or my new YouTube channel. So I will be friending you guys from that one. Um, but my personal Facebook page is generally the only Facebook page that's the only page I have that's still private. So, you know, you mean Squid isn't your real? No, my real name is Heather. So, you know, yeah, my real name's Mom. Mom, Mama, Mom, Bro, or Hun. Hey, Hun. Hey, Hun. But I swear it's like he's never heard of like America's Most Wanted, where they say, "Hey, contact us with information if you know where this person is." It's the same freaking thing. Plaintiff cannot disclaim responsibility for the resulting misconduct, but for his bounty and repeated publication of his private information. The hacking attempts, unsolicited contact of associated associates and relatives, and reckless doxing of strangers would not exist. The casual link is direct, foreseeable, and intentional. How about you just accept service and not be a stupid motherfucker? And like, whatever. You're gonna get called Squid. I'm done used to it. I'm sorry. I know Spawn's real name. He knows my real name, and I still call him Spawn on the phone. So I never call him by his first name. Oh my God. Yeah. When I came back from boot camp and my mom called me by my first name, and I'm like, and she said it like 5 or 6 times, and I'm like, oh, you're talking to me. Uh, oh my goodness. No, this link is would not happen if you would accept service. I've called you Squid for so long, it's hard to address you now as Heather. Yeah, I've mostly because people would see my Facebook and know my first name, but secondly, my second channel is more personal, it's more professional, and I decided to use my first name on it, so it's like y'all were gonna figure it out anyway. So it's kind of one of those, yeah. And my new channel, if you haven't joined it, please do. It is all about OT, corrective exercise, aging in place, and being happy with who you are, whatever phase of life you are in. So, yeah. If I was getting sued for that amount of money that they're getting sued for, I would shut up and hide. I would just shut up. I don't know if I would hide necessarily, but I would shut up. I would stop talking about it. you know? On or about August 17th, plaintiff used his YouTube platform to publicly announce he was increasing a so-called bounty for Teschendorf's address from $1,000 to $2,000. Plaintiff attempted to liken this bounty to a reward for a lost pet. Something like that. Uh, my first name was Airman, my last name was Smurf. Um, I have to do a stream where we just tell stories and like military stories because like there was in the Navy, you have like AT1 calls me AT2 because that's what I was. That's why I call him AT1, Aviation Electronics Tech First Class. Well, we have internal communications technicians called IC2 or IC. Second class would be IC2. Guy's last name was Ball. IC2 Ball. Could you imagine going around about your day? IC2, IC2 Ball. Excuse me? I can't really talk much because have you seen me? Like, I am not this I am not the skinniest bitch in the, in the gym. Yes, and thanks, Gail. That is the link to my new channel. First upload will be November 5th. So I gotta get my ass in gear. So yeah. Uh I never spelled my real name until I joined the army. All right. I just can't get over a reward for a lost pet, but such a comparison only underscores the frivolous and harassing nature of his actions. No, he wants to get this shit over with. And the faster you accept service and the faster you stop being a little bitch and defend yourself. If you didn't do anything wrong, why are you? Yeah, of course. Of course. My new channel is right here. Gail posted it a little bit above your comment. And I can pin that one. I would pin that comment, but the pinned comment is very important. If you have not checked out the link that is in the pinned comment, please do. That is for Carmen, also known as Spawn of AJ, alternate juror. If you've ever been over to alternate juror's channel, another friend of the channel, alternate juror has an amazing channel. If anybody, Captain, can you drop the link for AJ's channel? And if you haven't been over to alternate juror, go subscribe to her. However, Carmen, her daughter, switched from federal to the local system for corrections and has to purchase all her own safety equipment. And she has been injured on the job by a pointy object in the past. So the body armor that she wants to purchase, she has sent me the website and what's in her cart and everything. It is over $1,000. And on a county employee salary, $1,000 for body armor is not a cheap thing. So I have put the link for her buy me a coffee and go help her out, even if it's $1, $5, any amount definitely helps. So it's, yeah, no matter what you think of police or corrections officers or anybody, nobody should have to be unsafe or feel unsafe at their job. Oh, and Joan, JH has spent $500,000 on legal fees. Do these clowns really think they're being targeted for no reason? Yeah, and that's the thing. It's like, that's the thing. It's one thing it would be different if Jeremy was like Paris Hilton level money. And don't get me wrong, I did not compare Jeremy to Paris Hilton, like personality wise. That's not my point. But like money wise, like, buy me a coffee, I don't think does. I have a buy me a coffee link too. I just never use it. It was one of the first things I ever set up as far as like crowdfunding my channel, but I don't think it does. If it does, I think it takes a lot less than like a GoFundMe. Court rules provide clear procedures for service of process, and no ethical attorney would sanction or encourage such public solicitation of a party's personal information. However, somebody look at the docket, or I'll have to look at the docket and let you tell you guys later how many times Jeremy had filed for an extension of service or alternate service before August 17th. In the same broadcast, plaintiff stated that observers were surveilling defendant's residence, mocked defendant for not leaving his residence, and ridiculed the defendant's private daily activities, furthering harassment. These comments, coupled with public bounty, rise to the level of stalking, harassment, and intimidation under both Wisconsin state and federal cyberstalking statutes. Taken together, plaintiff's actions show abuse of process. Plaintiff is weaponizing the judicial system as content for his online business, rather than seeking a good faith legal remedy. I would have believed that if this was filed in like May or June. But because this is filed in October, when the original lawsuit was filed April 28th, or the amended complaint was filed April 28th. The amended complaint. The original complaint was filed February 23rd. So we're 10 months past the original complaint. And you are just now filing any kind of response. Oh, good Lord. I just can't. I just can't. So the first iteration of the complaint was filed February 23rd. If this was filed anywhere around that time, I might believe what he has to say. Ugh. I need you bad Tuesday or Monday and Tuesday at a total of 5 falls and get a fractured clavicle, 4 fractured ribs, and a left orbital. Oh no. Oh no. Yeah, the first video will be about does sitting cause pain because I'm tying in the video from here on um, ergonomics into that video, and then there'll be probably a month or a 4 to 5 week, at least 4, on fall prevention. So there will be, and I'm sorry, I know that there are a lot of there's a lot of topics I want to cover. Um, so I know that I would like to cover certain topics with certain people, but I will have downloadable handouts. I have a website where I can upload PDFs, and y'all can go to that and clickable links, and y'all can download PDFs on some of the highlights of our video. So like say you watch a video and you want to know something but you don't have time to go back and watch a 15-minute video again. You can download the PDF and have it like stick it to the fridge or whatever you want to do with it. But I have things in mind. It's just oh, it hurts my heart when I hear people's stories of how they fell. I'm like, oh, I need to crowdfund. I need to remove 100 pounds of crap from my life. It's called my belly. Yeah, I have 30 pounds. Oh. Harassment and stalking. Plaintiff's conduct has placed defendant in fear, created a hostile environment, and disrupted his daily life. These actions further support dismissal of plaintiff's claim under 12b6 and demonstrate that plaintiff is misusing the court to continue a campaign of harassing against individuals of limited means. Oh, he has to use that poor. I'm surprised he didn't use mental health. No legitimate legal interest is served by this conduct. Plaintiff's conduct intimidates and chills participation. Plaintiff has repeatedly leveraged his YouTube platform and audience to exert pressure on defendants outside the courtroom, publishing derisive commentary about them, referencing Teschendorf's disability. What disability? The fact that you ate too much Burger King? That's a self-inflicted wound. Trust me, I know. Publicizing or soliciting private information, bounties, and encouraging third parties to monitor or contact defendants. I'm almost positive he never said to directly contact anybody who he said give me information. Give me information so he can give it to his private eye. I could be wrong about that because I don't remember exactly, but I know that when I contacted my friends about, hey, this person's offering $1,000 for any information, I had specifically said, do not contact them. If you see this person, just give the information to Jeremy. And I gave them Jeremy's email. What happened after that? I don't know. That's between my friends and Jeremy. I didn't ask. However, I specifically said, because I remember, and this is like a Judge Grudge thing all over again. Do you really think Jeremy's like, if there's one thing I know about Jeremy is that he's not fucking stupid. He's not stupid. And it's like, US federal gift rules, I think it's for 2024, it was 17,000. The first 17,000 you didn't have to report. Ask me how I know. At least that's what I remember hearing from my grandfather's estate lawyer. Yeah. But Five Guys is also like freaking 5 times as expensive as everywhere else. It, so I'm pretty sure Jeremy, not being an idiot, learned from Judge Grudge that judges can take advantage of situations and not get any repercussions for it. So Jeremy has said on multiple occasions, if I'm remembering correctly, do not contact anybody directly. I know that I have a disclaimer that says do not contact anybody we've talked about. So, that being said, do not contact anybody we've talked about in this stream, um, because no, just don't. No. If I hear about it, my disclaimer says you will be banned in the chat, and I will forever make fun of you for being stupid. You know, it's ugh. Publicizing or engaging third parties to monitor or contact defendants' conduct is not mere opinion, is a campaign aimed at making continued participation costly and frightening. No, it's called accept service and stop being a pussy. It's not a hard concept, right? Like, it's really not a hard concept. The foreseeable effects include deterring defendants from filing papers, communicating with counsel, you don't have counsel, or co-defendants, and appearing publicly, as well as discouraging potential witnesses from cooperating. The behavior weaponizes the litigation by using the case caption and case-related narratives to mobilize harassment, risking witness intimidation, tainting the evidentiary record, and undermining the just, speedy. But boy, you have no right and no room to be talking about speedy when you are finally responding and putting anything in the court's records. 8 months. 8 full months. February 23rd was when this lawsuit was filed. October 27th is when this document was filed. You have no right at all to be talking about speedy and inexpensive resolution of this action. You gotta okay, you grew some balls, but you put them in the wrong fucking place. They're not supposed to be on your damn forehead. But he hadn't served me yet. Exactly. Oh my god. The chilling effect is concrete. Defendant has had to limit online activity, field unwanted contacts, and weigh safety concerns against his right to defend himself. It's been 8 months. 8 months. 8 months. Courts have consistently recognized that litigation used as a tool of intimidation rather than education constitutes abusive process. See Blue v. the Department of the Army. The use of judicial processes for harassment or oppression is an abusive process. Plaintiff's conduct, offering bounties, weaponizing YouTube content, and inciting harassment illustrates precisely the type of abusive bad faith litigation that merits dismissal with prejudice and potential sanctions. Sweet Jesus. Oh my goodness. Hey Palmers, how are you? She's in the living room with my phone. I'm pretty sure if you messaged me on the or she'd answer you. She might even be asleep. There's a good chance she's asleep. They're under his chin. No, that's not his balls, that's somebody else's. My goodness. Ugh. Ugh. Let's see here. And everybody just give Palmer's a virtual hug. She needs everything we've got right now. If you're a positive vibes person, just send them your way. Just send all the positive vibes and prayers her way. I'm not gonna get into the why. That is for her to discuss. However, I will will ask people to yeah, right here. So lurk mode activated. So we will get back to it. And I think we have about 5 minutes left. So I think actually this is where I'm going to leave off, and we'll get back to it tomorrow, because it's a lot. We're on 22 of 69. I might actually do this tomorrow and push Tyler Robinson till Friday. So, you do whatever you need to do. I don't gatekeep YouTube. Like, I might not like people, or I might not watch people, or remember, I can like people and still not watch them. There's just not enough hours in the damn day, and it's football season. And in fact, it's Florida week. So, it's Florida week. So it's hate week. And Billy Napier did get fired. So I'm kind of scared for this weekend. So we shall see what happens this weekend. But this is where I am going to bid you farewell. Taking it one day at a time. Woke up with a panic attack. Most know already, but you may share. Okay. Palmer's lost her dear husband in a tragedy of a car accident recently, and could use all the prayers and positive vibes and everything you've got that, yeah. Palmer's, I'm here for you if you need anything, even to vent, you just let me know. I'm the type of person where I will let people know that I am there for them, but I'm not going to constantly be all over you with a, "Are you okay?" One, because I know that can get annoying. And two, I know it annoys me when people do that to me. It's like, I can only do so much at one time. So just know I am here. You ever need to contact me, you know how to get a hold of me. Just let me know. If you happen to start a fundraiser or anything for yourself or your family or anything like that, you just let me know. Because I don't think you're the type to do the every 5 seconds you start to do GoFundMe. I think this case has tainted GoFundMes and fundraisers and crowdsourcing for people who actually need it. I think this case has now, every time someone says GoFundMe, people give it like the side eye. But if you ever happen to start any of those things and you want your link shared, just let me know. I will be more than happy to, because I can't even imagine. Yeah, I just, yep. So if you need anything, even if it's a shoulder to cry on, a virtual shoulder to cry on, you just let me know. I would sit in a police car watching people all day. Napier was fired. Sunbelt Billy is no longer. They're trying to get Lane Kiffin, I heard, but Lane Kiffin's kind of got it made over at Ole Miss, so he just needs to stay put. Like, yeah. Angel, you want to come here? Come here. You want strawberries? Go, come here. We're going to say goodbye. You want to say goodbye? No. Okay, come here. Did you say hi, Star? Hi, Palmer. Say hi. Hi. Say hi. Say hi. Hi. Oh. All right. Y'all have a great day. Look at that camera right there. Look at that camera right there. There you go. Yeah. All right. We are going to get going. Mommy. Angel. Yep. We're gonna have a good afternoon. Mama's gonna go to the gym in a little while. Y'all have a great night, and I will see you guys tomorrow. We'll get more of this done tomorrow, and then we'll move on to all the Charlie Kirk documents on Friday. Have a great day, guys. Bye.